Hey everyone, welcome to Culture Cantina. I'm one of your hosts, Rocky Kari.
And I'm Shrikari.
And today we are reviewing Music to be Murdered By, the 11th album by Eminem. First, we're going to go into our overall review of the album, then our favorite songs plus our least favorite song, and then give our rating at the end.
I mean, first off, I have to say, I think that Eminem is one of, if not the greatest rapper of all time. His ability to tell stories, his ability to bend words, and his overall skill and the career he's had up to this point is incredible. And I just think there's no one out there that has his skill. And I really respect his work and the amount of albums and content that we've gotten from him. I did not think we were going to get an album in 2020 by Eminem. But overall, I was kind of mixed on the album. I mean, so it starts out with Premonition. And I love the beat of Premonition. You kind of hear some creepy themes, and the tone really sets that. Okay, hey, this is gonna be good. And I love Eminem's rapping on that song. But then the songs kind of start to deviate with Unaccommodating and You Gonna Learn, and then we get to Alfred's interlude or the intro. And then it kind of got all over the place, and I was kind of like, where is this going? There's like a couple love songs in here. A few of them, yeah. And then like, just songs that I don't feel fit the overall tone of the album. So that was a big thing. I didn't think the tone of the album was consistent throughout. I think the album could have been a lot shorter. It's over an hour long, 20 songs, including the intros and skits. But I think it could have been much more condensed and a lot shorter. Also, I thought that some of Eminem's lines were a little corny at times. They bended words or they did things in a clever way, but it didn't really sound good, and it kind of made you cringe at parts.
Yeah, sadly.
So it was unfortunate that you kind of heard those, because we've seen what Eminem has been able to do. So I wasn't a big fan of that. So in terms of the positives, I still think this proves that Eminem is the GOAT. He is one of the greatest of all times, and he is able to rap significantly better than 90% of the rappers out there today, and the ability for him to do this long in his career is just amazing. And I think there's a lot of great songs on here that have a lot of replay value, and I think a big thing that worked for me in this was the features. I've had a problem with some of Eminem's features in the past, but I really think they stood out and really compliment Eminem well. So overall, I guess I was mixed on the album. I don't think the tone was consistent. It could have been a lot shorter, and some of the lines were a little bit corny. But there's some great songs on here. Eminem still has the ability to show why he is one of the greatest, and I still appreciated the album. And hey, I know it's kind of a mixed bag, but hey, I'll take another Eminem album.
Yeah, I would agree with most of what you said. I would say the tone of the album is definitely off in the sense that half of the time it feels like a Slim Shady, dark, like horror type album, but at the same time it also feels like romance,
right?
And like struggling with love, which does not fit at all. I love Alfred Hitchcock's samples that he used, but I wish that it was there prevalent throughout the album, because it's only really used 3 times. And I think Eminem's delivery on most of his lines is very good, but I think that, like you said, some of the lines are kind of corny, and when he says these corny lines very seriously, it's very cringy. Like when he says I'm going after you like the letter V. If he said it like a Slim Shady type, like goofy, I'd be fine with it. But he says it so like, I'm in your face. And it's like, no, it's like, goofy. Really? Yeah. The hooks don't really resonate with me as much as the verses of the albums do. And hooks are really important, because that is literally in the word. It hooks you to the song, But Eminem's delivery is still really good in most of this album, even though his lines are corny. Most of the features are really good, especially Royce da 5'9". He steals the show on like 3 of these songs. Yeah, overall, I really like the album. I like some of the themes, even though they clash sometimes. But because some of the album kind of drags for me, because I agree with your pacing issues, it's kind of a mix, and I'm kind of in the middle with this album. So now we're going to say our top 3 songs of the album, plus both of our least favorite song of the album.
So for my number 3 song of this album, I'm actually going to give it to Lock It Up featuring Anderson .Paak. I absolutely love the beat of this song. I think it's just got a really nice flow to it.
Yes.
And personally, I think Anderson .Paak steals the show with this. The way, not only his verse, but especially his hook in the chorus, it's amazing, and I think he really compliments Eminem well. Listening to the album, it was one of the songs that immediately stood out, and it still stands out a week later. So yeah, loved Lock It Up with Anderson .Paak.
So actually, that's funny because my number 3 is also going to be "Lock It Up" by Anderson .Paak.
Nice.
Or not by Anderson .Paak, featuring Anderson .Paak. And I think he is really good on this song. He and Eminem really flow together really well. And like I said about Eminem's hooks not really sticking well, at first this hook didn't stick with me, but after a while and after more listens, it really did. And I think they complement each other very well. So yeah, and like you said, it's very groovy and it's a chill beat. So yeah, that's gonna be my number 3. Lock It Up. Now, for my number 2, I'm actually going to go with Premonition, the intro. Right. So I think this is just a great intro into the album because Eminem, like, just off the bat goes really hard. My only, like, caveat is that I wish that the Alfred interlude was actually the intro instead of, like, the stabbing we get at the beginning. Yeah. Because I feel that's a better intro because he says, he says, welcome to music to be murdered by. That's a way better intro than the freaking stabbing. But the beat's really good. Eminem goes hard. His flow is great. And it's just... right when I listened to it, I was like, we back. Eminem is back. And that was just awesome to hear. So that's going to be my number 2, Premonition.
So my number 2, it's actually going to be Those Kind of Nights featuring Ed Sheeran. So again, I love the features in this album. And for those who don't know, Eminem actually brought Ed Sheeran in Revival for the song River. And personally, I thought that was one of the worst songs on that album. I was not a fan of it. They did not mesh together. I hated the hook. And I did not like it. But then he did the daring thing and brought Ed Sheeran back for this song. I think the execution was much better here. I think I really like the beat. Again, it has that creepy but like jumpy party vibe to it. And I think the hook is amazing. Eminem, he kind of talks about these things going, a story in a club. And I kind of like the storytelling element there.
And even though it's like a love story, it's still like creepy. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it fits. Yeah. Not like the other love songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. And I think it's a great song. It has a lot of great replay value. And I was glad that Ed Sheeran executed well with Eminem. Yeah. So, again, great song. And my number 2 in Those Kind of Nights. So before we give our number 1, we wanted to give our worst song of the album. So my worst song, I think you thought it was going to be Ya Ya.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give it to Ya Ya. Because I think Royce da 5'9" and Eminem still rap really well on that song.
Just the hook.
But I think the song that, as a whole, I just did not like at all was In Too Deep. This song it's a love song. It's like the 5th or 6th song in here.
It's really cringy.
It's so out of place. It's so cringy. The hook Eminem sounds whiny here. Mm-hmm. I just was like, why? This could have easily been cut. Yeah. Was not a fan of In Too Deep. Again, I'm just going to leave it there. Least favorite song, In Too Deep.
So my least favorite song is actually going to be, if I could, I would do the first verse of Unaccommodating with Young Ma, because she did not do a very good job with this. The flow, her delivery, the lines, it just all didn't mesh well for me at all. I actually had to double check my notes to see what my least favorite song was because I forgot, and it's Marsh. Marsh is not a good song.
And it shows how unforgettable that song is.
Yeah, like I said, Eminem struggles with hooks, and the hook of this song is really bad with the, like, my name's Marsh. Like, it was not good. It's weird. Yeah. It's weird, and it doesn't fit, and yeah. That's going to be my worst, Marsh. And now going into my number 1, I am going to go with Godzilla featuring Juice WRLD. This song, to me, embodies Eminem, especially, this, defines the album for me. Eminem just goes insanely hard with this song, especially in the second half with how fast he goes. And not just how fast he goes, but also the bars. If you really pay attention, his rhyming scheme is very well done. And the hook by Juice WRLD complements Eminem fantastically. The song also is, really badass, you know? It's just, I don't know, you could play it for, a Fast and Furious movie, I feel, probably, you know? Yeah. So, yeah, it's a really great song, great replay value. I find myself listening to it often, so that's going to be my number 1, Godzilla.
So that's funny, because my number 1 of this album is Godzilla as well. Mm-hmm. I think everything about this song is amazing. I think the beat is great. I think Juice WRLD and his feature was amazing. Really amazing that they were able to get him on here this year. And I think Eminem just absolutely nails it. His ability to rap really shines in the second half of this song. I think he set a world record for something probably 200 words in 30 seconds or
God.
something. I don't know the exact thing, but
something like that.
It's crazy. It's almost as good as Rap God. The song really carries the album.
It does.
Imagine if this album did not have this song. It would get hit so hard.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
You know, so I think it's an amazing song. Again, every aspect of it is phenomenal.
I know,
I'm so happy it's on this album.
I know it was trending on YouTube too.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
So
really
like, people obviously.
Yeah,
really
they want to hear Eminem and Juice WRLD just
Yeah.
produce some great music, and they delivered here.
Yeah.
So amazing song in Godzilla.
So before we give our ratings, we also want to talk about one song that didn't really make it, and that's Darkness.
Yeah.
So Darkness is actually a really interesting song because it talks about the perspective of a mass shooter, and Eminem's really highlighting the the issue of gun control in America. And regardless of your stance on the issue, it's really awesome that Eminem brought this into light and made a really interesting song about that. And even though the song doesn't have a lot of good replay value for me, just because it's a hard listen, and also, again, not really a fan of the hook.
It's tough to hear. It's tough to hear it.
But it's real, and we're both really happy that Eminem was able to deal with this in a very good way.
I just want to I think it was a very powerful song, and I really really appreciate that Eminem took this on, and I think it shows his lyrical ability because I think you had read somewhere on Reddit, like someone pointed out, the first time you listen to this, you hear him singing from the viewpoint of the artist who's going to perform. But then on the second listen, it shows that it's really the perspective of the shooter. And the ability to present words to the listener and have them mean two different things and you can apply two different perspectives, that's just a phenomenal lyrical ability. And again, I really appreciate Eminem putting this on the album. It was a powerful song. It was beautiful. It addressed a big issue that's going on in our country, and definitely the song I appreciated the most on this album.
So, yeah, and in conclusion, for me, Music to Be Murdered By is a very mixed bag. There are some songs I really, really like, some songs that I really don't like that are kind of forgettable, could have been cut in some places, although there are some really good features on this album. So for me, I'm going to give it a 6. I think it's okay, not good, not great, but not bad at all. I wouldn't say it's a bad album. So for me, gonna be a 6.
I was also mixed about this album. Again, I think it could have been a lot shorter. There were some lines that were kind of corny, and overall I kind of felt that the tone was inconsistent. But there's still a lot of songs on here that I appreciate. Again, Darkness, Godzilla, the features on here were amazing. And it was really amazing to kind of see that Eminem still has the ability to skillfully rap at his age and ability to do this for so long. I still think, even though this is a mixed bag for me, I still think he is one of the greatest rappers of all time. And yeah, I still really appreciate more Eminem music. I'm going to give this album a 6.5. Again, there were things that I think could have been a lot better, but there's a lot of songs on here that have replay value, and I'm happy we got another Eminem album. So I'm going to give Music to Be Murdered By a 6.5.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and also click the notifications button to see our future videos, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Take care.